Okay, guys, as promised, I'm going to give you a short video on using Solver on the Z formula, which is something that you're going to have to be doing pretty quickly, as in next time we meet. So, first thing I want to do is just walk you through the keystrokes on how to use the calculator to solve an equation. Most of you have already done this before, but if you haven't, then I'm going to show you for this specific one. All right, so let's go to our calculator. Okay, so we've used the stats function, we've used the run math function. This time we're going to use what's called the equation function. And if you'll look, the equation function is right here, the number 8. So your first step is to go to Menu. Second step, select Equation, which again is the number 8. Okay, so click on that. I'm going to have to go away, but you're going to make my writing go away, but that's okay. Okay, and you're going to have several different types of equations that you can choose from. Okay, what we're going to do is we're going to choose F3 Solver, and I'll put all these notes together at the end after we're through doing these. Right? So F3 Solver, and it should be blank here. If it's not blank here, then press F2 to delete to make sure that you have a blank page. All we're going to do is enter the formula for z-score, which you may or may not remember we looked at before. It will be on your formulas page, so as long as you know how to use the calculator, you're fine. It's z equals x minus mu divided by the standard deviation. So what we're going to do is we're going to make our lives a little bit easier and not use these funny Greek symbols. So we're going to change it to z equals x minus a over b. As long as you put in the right values, it doesn't matter. Now, when you do the actual problems, though, remember you're actually looking for mu and theta, the standard deviation and the mean. So don't use A and B as your answers, okay? But it will make it easier to write the formula. It's also easier to, if you'll remember, to put this in parentheses because we need to do that first. Then you can just use the division symbol. So let's just type in the equation, and the key to making this work is right here, the alpha key. The alphabet key will allow you to use these little red alphabet characters, right? And so that will make your life a lot easier. All right, so here we go. Let's just type in the equation. So the equation is alpha, 0 is your z, then shift key and the space bar is your equals. Again, you need the brackets, and it's just plain x. So alpha x minus alpha, and we're just going to call it a, even though we know it's the standard deviation. Close your bracket, divided by alpha, and then we're just going to call it b. And again, we're letting those values, those a's and b's, represent those Greek letters that would be a lot more difficult to use. Okay? Now, we'll just hit enter, and you'll see it gives you a place to put a value for each one of those terms that we've used. So you can put in a value for z, a value for x, a, or b. It doesn't matter. As long as you have 3 of them, it'll solve for the others. Okay? So, say we have z is 1. Who cares? We'll just leave it as 1. Scroll down. X is 5. Enter that. And a is, who cares? Let's say it's 7. Just a little bit less than that. So let's use 4, I'm sorry. Okay? Now, B is the one we're solving for, so we'll just leave it blank. We'll leave it at 0. Okay? Then, hit enter. So now we have a value in every one of them. And again, B is the one we're solving for, so that's why it's just blank. And over here you have a little solve button. A little key for solve. That's the F6 button. Okay? So we'll just press F6, and boom. It tells us that with those particular numbers, B is equal to 1. Right? And if you hit enter again, I'm sorry, not enter, but F1 again. If you hit F1, it takes you back to the equation. So you don't have to enter the equation every time. All you're going to do is put in the right value in the right spot. Don't worry about lower and upper. We're not. That just means we can get every number we can possibly think of. So it doesn't give any limitations on our numbers. So you're just going to type in the formula once, then you can solve it as many times as you'd like. Okay, so let me write down just the steps, the process. Okay, remember the formula is z equals x minus mu over standard deviation. We let z equals z, of course. X, we used x, but for mu we used the letter A, and for standard deviation we used the letter B. I just chose those. You can use your favorite letters. I don't care. Okay, make sure that you use a bracket around the top there, otherwise you're not going to get the right formula. So be very careful. Okay, to get to the solver, going to go to menu, then equation, which is just the number 8. Then you want solver, which is the F3 key. Then enter the equation. And remember, the key to getting those letters is the alpha key, right? And you can work all of those. 5, hit execute. Then 6, fill in the values, make sure you get them in the right spot, and 7, hit solve, which is just F6. And that will allow you to solve these for any of them, so you won't have to do all the math by hand. Now again, if you want to do the math by hand, it's not very difficult, but there you have another choice. Thanks, guys.